this is Chorus Landwalker, and we're here for another exciting afternoon of Star Citizen. Nothing big to report as far as news goes in the Star Citizen sphere. There is an Evocati build out there that's featuring the setting for the next expo, which is something they do every year, primarily to sell spaceships. Who would have thought it, right? But there's still no Mercury Star Runner out there. There's still no news on when it's going to come out. That's okay. These things happen. They do assure us that it's still on track for the mysterious 3.11.x patch. Whether or not this actually happens, when it'll happen, I figure it's got to be during the expo. That it's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, they could drop it afterwards, but they'd be missing out on a great opportunity to market it and sell it. And I have a sneaking feeling that its lack of progress on the roadmap has a lot to do with, well, marketing. I know in a number of other online games that marketing drives the sale of stuff. Why would it not be the case for Star Citizen as well? As you can tell, I am attempting to get on the same server as the head man from our there we go, of our org, the Eternal Riders. That can be helpful. Details about it, the link to the page can be helpfully found if you use the !org command in chat. One of these days, I'm going to have to add a list of commands somewhere on my Twitch page. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. It'll happen. I just have to sit down and get it done. As for today's excitement, we're going to do a little bit of... We're probably going to do a little bit of mining today. And it's going to be a little different mining than I've done in the past on this chat. You see, in the last week, I managed to get enough money to purchase a ROC. You know, saying that out loud, it doesn't sound all that impressive. I'm not talking about your average stones. I'm talking about the capital R, capital O, capital C, the Great Cat ROC, which is a vehicular mining, vehicle. You know, that sounded better in my head before I said it. It is a relatively small vehicle. It's, well, I'll demonstrate momentarily if it's still here. You'll see that I've logged off in my Freelancer. Specifically, I decided to log off last time I was on in orbit around Aberdeen, which is a decent place to demonstrate what I'll be demonstrating. And okay, I'm going the correct way. Back here we have the ROC. As you can see, it can fit in a MISC Freelancer, and this is the base Freelancer. This isn't a fancy one. I'm going to turn the ship on to get some lights on in here. It's probably easier to see. As you can tell, there's not a whole lot of room to move around it. Well, it's not huge. Okay, now that I've got everything activated, we'll run back out here so we can get a better look at it. Of course, we'll have an even better look at it once I get back to the surface. But you can see it's a one-man vehicle with the wheels that are, well, really outside. That's one of the reasons why it's tricky to get in and out of the Freelancer. It's not exactly simple. You'll probably have an easier time putting it on board a Cutlass, and I'm hoping it'll have an easier time putting it on a Mercury when the day comes. You can certainly fit it into a Carrack, and certainly fit it into Constellation, although Constellation has its own issues with its ramp. And you'll see over here on the driver's right, my left, is the mining laser. So now that we've got the brief introduction, and I'm going to close that up, I don't really want the door open right now. There is a bug in the game right now where that canopy, and just about anything that has a canopy, whether it's a starfighter or a rock, opens and closes randomly. Or perhaps not randomly. There may be a rhyme and reason to it, because I know an org mate of mine, Cap and I, were doing a dual mining in these things, and the doors would open simultaneously and close simultaneously. So there is a rhyme and a reason somewhere, but we don't know where, or we don't know what. But neither of us are game coders. Well, I'm not a game coder, I'm assuming he's not either, but I can't rule it out either. We're going to take a drop down towards HDM. Well, actually, I don't know if I want to go to Doms. I want to go somewhere relatively close to where they might have somewhere where I can sell. Oh, Klesher is not where I want to go. Going to the prison facility will not work out for anybody. Anderson. Now that's a better one. I'm trying to hit something that's in the daylight side. Hey, NoFX, how you doing? Thanks for joining me on the show. Noah is also a member of our org. Recent member. Good guy. I am getting ready to drop on Aberdeen and demonstrate the utility of the ROC. Of course, given that I'm the one driving this, it may not go quite as planned. Which is another way of saying, this way disaster lies. Now I'm going to start flying away from Anderson, because the whole point is to get far enough away from its spawn pads for vehicles that I am... No, it would help if I actually turn on my acceleration, wouldn't it? Activate that thrust. To get myself far enough away that perhaps... Oh, you're kidding me. Security scanning me here? Seriously? I tell you, there are times where I just want to open fire on these guys.
I'm seeing that you have an outstanding fine on your record.
Yes, I do have an outstanding fine.
Pay that ASAP.
And the reason I have that outstanding fine is because of overzealous security people who like to scan the moment you hit the jump button. Which is one of the reasons why I still have that outstanding fine. I am basically not paying it out of sheer protest. They want it, they're going to have to pry it from my fingers. Or, you know, hack into my bank account, which is also possible. Well, not really, but really it's the game. They could probably code in something to have security automatically take the fines out. The whole point of having a terminal is to encourage voluntary payment, which admittedly is not really working in my case. Now, if things went the way it's supposed to, ignoring such things for too extended a period of time would start leading to criminal status, but I think that there's either something bugged or it's not in the game or what have you. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter that much. Alright, whoops. And I'm almost flying right by something. In order to do ground mining, you want to be looking for something that shows gems on the scanner. You'll see that right now on the left side, you'll see this rock kind of in blue. And that would be something that could be split open by a prospector or a mole for spaceship mining. But these little gemstones, these are guys who can be picked up by rocks. And if they're small enough, they can be dealt with by hand mining. But I'm not entirely sure that that's working quite the way we want them to these days. Now there's 3 types of minerals that can be found here. And Hadanite is the one of the gem of choice, the mineral of choice. So now that I've identified something here. I'm going to try to get myself to a decent landing here.
Landing gear down. Landing successful.
I am not that successful because I seem to be at a... Well, no, I seem to be at a right angle here, but opening up my rear bay, as you can see, is not going to work out in this particular spot. And that is the reason why I'm using a Freelancer and not a Carrack to cart my ROC around. Because right now, I need to be able to land in areas that may not have very many surfaces that'll work out well. Oh, that's not great either. Okay, maybe if I can maneuver myself around. Oh, you know what? Let's open the exterior and see what happens. It's always possible that I'm giving enough credit to the manufacturers of MISC here. You know, I just bet that's not going to work out well. Alright, let me see. Just scoot myself over a little bit. Okay, that is a lot better.
Engines off.
Now, there is another bug that's been in the game a bit lately, and we may experience this today, is when I leave my Freelancer, or say another ship, like just picking out of thin air a Valkyrie or something like that, sometimes your spaceship goes away. Just despawns and goes into Never Never Land. Let's hope that's not the case today, because it's a long drive back. Gonna power on. There's also a bit of a bug about the how the mining laser sits, so I always activate it and deactivate it before it. There you go. See, the canopy is already opening itself up on its own. Okay, step one, get out of the Freelancer. Getting out usually turns out a lot easier than getting in. And, oh, how about that? I parked right next to these rocks, didn't I? Once I get myself a little more centered here, if I can use my controls properly. There we go, there we go. And then, now the one tip that I was made aware of is to turn off the engine when you're in position. And the reason for that is right now the ROC tends to drift around if you stand still on the surface of a planet. This is something that will be fixed with the next patch. Well, the next significant patch at any rate. So this is only a temporary problem. Once I've got myself into position, I'm going to activate the mining arm. Now, mining in general is pretty similar with all the types of mining in the game right now, but whether you're doing hand mining, rock mining, or spaceship mining. It's all following the same basic principles. The first thing you want to do is break open the rock. That is the stones, not the rock I'm driving. That's important to keep in mind. If it's done properly, it's easier to start targeting things. When you target something, you'll get to see the mass of the rock, what's in the rock, and you'll notice a number of sensors on the HUD on the lower end, on the left and the right. On the left, we have the... Will you stop thinking like that? Thank you. On the left, we have the laser throttle and the ROC energy level. And you'll see that there is a green spot and a red spot on that ROC energy level. The green spot is where you want your throttle energy to go. The ROC energy, the throttle is the power to your laser. The ROC energy is, well, how much energy the ROC is taking. And you want to leave it in that green spot for an extended period of time so that on the right-hand side, the fracturing sensor goes from 0 to 100%. At 100%, rock breaks. Profit! But if your rock energy level starts going into the red, the overcharge sensor starts increasing. That means you've got way too much energy going into that rock, and when it blows up, bad things can happen. If you're doing hand mining, you might explode the rock and kill yourself. If you're doing space mining, you may explode the rock and damage your ship, if not destroy it entirely. Luckily, as far as I'm aware, there's no horrible negative consequences to overcharging, except for how the fragments scatter. If you have overcharge, depending on how much that percentage is, it'll determine whether or not your rocks are nice, neat cluster right where you were mining, or blown all over creation to the other side of the planet. I may be exaggerating on that last one, but not by much. So, without further ado, now I'm going to turn off the in-game chat because it's blocking my view of my rock energy level at the moment. And as you can see, the amount of green I have to work with is very, very small. So, much like the old board game of Operation, and if you remember that game, you were probably older than you want to admit to, it takes a very steady hand. Now, I could easily crank up my throttle more and get to the green faster. Oh, there's the random canopy door opening again. Once I get to the green, I'm going to be cutting power, because once it's to the green, it likes to start jumping up very quickly. And there's the door again. At no time does my hand go near the canopy button. Now the overcharge sensor is over 80% right now, so it's got only a little while to go before bang! And all the good stuff comes spilling out. Now once you've done that, you'll want to switch from fracture to collection. And this is where you pop off your extraction. Well, this is a collector beam. It's basically a tractor beam, and I'm not sure it's working quite the way they want it to. You have to kind of keep it in the same spot for an extended period of time for it to start really grabbing. Oh no, you don't get to go over there. Get back in. Okay, I'll deal with that one later. But it's not an instantaneous process, and I see that even though I have not been paying that close attention, that night is falling on Aberdeen, which means I definitely didn't pick the right spot to do daylight mining. Oh, it's hardly the first time. Sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge to see exactly. Oh, that was a nice pull. Exactly where those gems are sitting, and how close I have to be with the laser to make them come into my cargo hold. Okay, I think that one may be the last one I have to pull in from that rock. No, it seems like there's another one missing because I should... Is there one here? I got a little arrow there. Okay, well, I'll deal with that in a bit. First things first, I have 2 more rocks. Now, I guess I did pick it up because I'm at 5%. And on the average, you should end up with 5% for each rock that you break up. So I should be at 15% after I deal with these 3 rocks. Sounds simple and straightforward, doesn't it? And it is. The rock has been pretty much regarded as the major method of gaining funds at a reasonable rate ever since it was introduced. Now, granted, when it was introduced, the only rocks that were around were the Hadenite rocks. But now we have Dolovine and I can never remember the second one, but Hadanite is still the stone of choice. The mineral of choice, I should say. And unlike in space mining, or... oh yeah, unlike space mining, the rocks are composed of only one mineral. If you were doing space mining, you'd have to worry about percentages of various types, and some of them less valuable than others. Thank heavens, I was getting a little too close to that red section there. And like I said, while it doesn't necessarily mean instant fatality, it does mean a wider spread of those pieces of gem. They would explode in a nice circle around, and it would be a much bigger pain to collect all of them. Now, a full cargo hold of Hadanite will probably net you, and I've heard kind of conflicting numbers on this, somewhere between 180k to 200k in credits. That ain't bad. And often you'll find that Hadanite rocks, at least on Aberdeen, sometimes you'll find them in clusters of 5, which is really nice. Is there one behind that, or is that just a... you know what, I'll just fracture this rock and get it out of my way. I'm going to turn on the lights. That didn't really help much. Like many vehicles, the rock has headlights. Unlike many vehicles, it's not horribly helpful. Well, you can't win them all. So let's watch the rock energy level rise. Let's hope it doesn't rise too quickly, because if it does, then I'm going to be in that red a lot sooner than I want to be. In fact, I'm going to start cutting it down now. Maybe I cut it down too much. I want you to just get in that green, but I don't want it to drop in. There we go. Let it go. It's already climbing into the red. Like I said, once it gets in the green, it really wants to start jumping up. So that's why handling the mining laser is just as much art as it is science. Oh, here we go. It's like I'm nudging into that green and not staying in it. There we go. And now I can see that that was a standalone gem, so let's see if I can grab that one. Come on, you know you want it here. Although I seem to be grabbing a lot of ones that, oops, that didn't work out at all. Looks like one of them managed to jump but not go all the way. I may have to turn the engine back on and readjust my positioning. Here we go. And of course, there's also that other tiny problem that I alluded to earlier that I'm going to have to double check on, which is to say, is my freelancer still here? Okay, I seem to have gotten all but that one, which is apparently behind me now. Oh, that's rude. You know what I'm not seeing? There is something missing from this wonderful vista. If you said a spaceship, you are 100% right. My freelancer has gone the way of the dodo. Where did that piece of gem go? I'm putting an awful lot of work trying to get that last rock, but I want it. Of course, my monitors are making it awful hard for me to see. There we go. Come on, if I'm gonna have to make a long drive back to Anderson, I'm going to at least get a 15% out of this. Thank you. Turn off collection mode. Waiting for it to update. Yeah, it's not updating. So I seem to have missed a gem somewhere, but I think I've pretty much done all I can as far as locating. Everything here is basically non-usable. And my freelancer has gone away. Away, away, away. Noah will be on in an hour if I want to wait. Well, I appreciate the thought, Noah, but I think I'm going to try to drive my way to Anderson. Let's see how far away it is. Now, one of the annoying things is that you can't set a course in a vehicle like you can in a spaceship, which I think is nuts. You should be able to put on something like cruise control. But unfortunately, it is not playing nicely, so what I've got to do is I've got to dead reckon my way there. First, I have to get the distance nailed down. For that, I need to be able to select Anderson, which I'm having a little trouble locating. Oh, okay. There we are. Now it is 30 kilometers away. A rough drive, but not impossible. So we're going to dead reckon our way there. So if I am currently at 3444 and I drive this way, if that number is smaller, one moment, I seem to have a spammer calling. 1 second. Okay, I should take care of that. My distance is now 3435, which means going in this direction does get me closer to where I want to go. And so I'm going to try, the emphasis being try, to maintain this direction. Now I'm also going to switch this over to third-person view because it's a little easier to drive at night when I can see more than what's in front of me. Now the problem is there are a lot of rocks on this planet, and some of them are more real than others. Oh boy. Fall down, fall down. So the goal here is, can I cover 30 kilometers? Now, being off by, as far as angles go, isn't horrible when you're this far away, but when you start getting closer, ooh, that almost went horrible. When you start getting closer to your destination, it gets to be a little more challenging. And we have a number of mountainous rocks here that are going to make this travel as entertaining as possible. And by entertaining, I mean bloody awkward. But we seem to be doing okay here. We've got a bit of a stretch. Let's make sure we're going in the correct direction now. Yes, because we are below 30 kilometers. And that means direction is still good. It's good to occasionally check these things, especially when you hit rocks and start spinning around and you start losing track of what direction you're going in, which is really challenging when you have no landmarks. Or if you have large hunks of rocks that are going to act like a ridge that you can't quite get around. Honestly, I sometimes think that they may have overdone it a little bit as far as how much rocks they put on the surface of these planets, moons, what have you. Because it makes driving in a four-wheeled vehicle very difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. Especially if it happens to be at night. Like, oh, I don't know, now. Oh boy, aren't there a lot of rocks in this area. Now, if things go really, really well, I should be able to get to HDMS Anderson and sell everything on this rock. At which point I will be more than happy to, well, effectively take off the helmet and die of asphyxiation there. Oh, whoa, I did not expect this. This could be inconvenient. There we go. Good rock. At least I'm not on my side yet. Now, it'd be nicer if it were daylight out, because, well, for one thing, it would be easier to look for landmarks. 29050. I have not covered a whole lot of distance here. That gives me a sneaking feeling that I am not oriented quite at the right angle I want to be. Let's see. 19. 16. Okay, so I want to be a little left or a little right. Clearly, it's a little right I want to go. Well, maybe not quite that part of the right. Let's go back to third-person view. Okay, well, we're definitely getting the nickel tour here. You know, if I were smart, I would be scanning for more minerals. I mean, if I'm heading back anyway, why not try to see if I can find something useful to mine out and get more of? Now, when you see the big boxes like that, that indicates that you're probably looking at one of the planetary starship mining kind of things. It's not something that the ROC is going to be able to mine. It would have to be one of the small boxes that would lead in the correct direction, shall we say. Let's get atop this ridge here, and then we'll do another scan. The scanners on the ROC are slow. They're not nearly as fast as the ones that you would find on any given starship. Too close to the big rocks. Steering in the ROC is a little bit challenging too. You can easily... let's not go that way. Let's go to the right side. You can easily find yourself doing donuts by accident. Not to mention reverse your field entirely. Get turned around. Still, it isn't a catchy off-road vehicle. Let's see if there's anything here. Yeah, you'll notice on the right-hand side we've got the yellow ROC symbol. And we've got a box on the other side, which is again a little too large to be the kind of mineral that I can mine. Now sometimes you can power through the stones on the ground. Sometimes. And sometimes not so much. Ooh, I'm not going to get over that. There we go. Looks like we have a decent run ahead. As long as I don't, do something crazy. And that would never happen on one of my streams, would it? Don't answer that. That was a rhetorical question. Let's check distances. 27. Okay, I've closed a little bit. Not nearly as much as I would like, but oh, that's what happens when you regularly stop for obstructions or scan things. Oh, down, 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 down. There we go. Things like this are one of the reasons why I prefer the hover bikes to wheeled vehicles in most situations, because it is painfully easy to hit things on the surface. Worse yet, there is a very real possibility of overturning your vehicle and putting yourself in a really bad situation. In fact, I'm kind of a little surprised that I haven't done it yet. Of course, now that I've said this, I've almost guaranteed that I'm going to be overturned long before I get to Anderson. I suppose that's a cynical worldview, but Murphy's Law applies even in 2950. Okay, can I get over this hill? Yeah. All-wheel drive. Love it. Get some of that time back, hopefully. It's at times like this where I really wish that the ground vehicles, in fact, not just the ground vehicles, I wish that the space vehicles were equipped with compasses, because it would be really useful to know what direction I'm actually moving. 28. That's not good, because I think that means the numbers have gone up. I am no longer moving in the direction I want to be moving. Okay, baseline. 28,902. $28,918. That is the wrong direction. $28,883. Okay, this is the direction I want to be moving. Yeah, like I said, getting turned around, it can happen. And when you don't have any landmarks and you don't have a compass to operate with, you are in a world of problems. Oh, that was a jump and a half. Oh, and I'm not done apparently. But the good news is, since I have that marker, I can at least gauge distance. And if I can gauge distance, then I have a tiny chance of being able to make my destination. Although, when you consider that I've only made roughly 2 kilometers of progress, that's probably not the best sign. I'm not going to say that I could walk faster, because that would be a lie. But it's sure discouraging sometimes. Oh, Spin, spin. I'm turned around. $28,455. All right, continuing the journey. Now, see, if the sun were up, I could at least use the sun as orientation. But unfortunately, the sun is not up. I actually thought that set of trees was real. Like I said, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes what's real and what's not as far as the game engine is concerned. Trying to figure out the collision sometimes can be a little bit tricky. Ooh, that's a landmark I can work with. Let me get back up here. You see that right there in the center of my screen right now? I think that's one of the other moons in Hurston. I'm hoping it is. And that means I have a landmark I can work with. Actually, for all I know, it might be Hurston itself. So let's see, 28267. Unfortunately, that wasn't the landmark I was hoping it was, because I was hoping I could drive towards it and be improving, and instead it's moving away. Okay, let's try this. 28284. And that's going on. So hopefully if I drive to with that on my left, 28282. To 82877. Okay, so the goal here is to keep the red star, moon, planet, whatever, on my left-hand side. And hopefully, with that knowledge, I will be able to have an easier time nailing down the direction I want to go. If I get to the point where it's on my right or in front of me, that means I'm angled incorrectly and not heading to where I want to go. It'll also be helpful in moments like this when I've turned myself around completely. So I just need to scan the stars, find my lodestar, as it were, and try not to hit the big rocks. That might have proven to be the important landmark I need. Uh-oh. I hope that wasn't something exploding on my rock, because that would make this trip much, much more entertaining. And by entertaining, I mean horrible. Now, one of the things that I'm not fond about for the ROC, that I notice in other that is in other vehicles but isn't in the ROC. Ooh, this is not good. Not good. There we go. Big rock put me where I wanted to be. Let me get out of here for a second. What you don't see on here is anything indicating your velocity. You have no idea how fast you are actually traveling. 2.5. Still the correct direction. So I'm not entirely sure what the top speed for the ROC is. Uh-oh. 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 Okay, this is a bad thing. This is a real bad thing. Step 1, turn off the power.
Weapons off.
Okay, now comes the entertaining part, trying to get myself righted. Now supposedly there is a way to do this, and it involves a lot of spinning. Anakin Skywalker would be proud.
Weapons off.
And Anyways, I'm pretty sure the whole point here is to use momentum to get yourself righted.
Activating. Systems on.
There is a trick to this. Unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure I know the trick.
Weapons off. Systems activating. Systems.
Well, this drama may have come to a gruesome end here. Okay, maybe the problem is... Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, well, we have a good news, bad news situation. The good news is I am definitely moving around. Bad news is I am moving around away. Oops, I hit the wrong button. I'm going to eject myself right out of my vehicle. Well, the good news is I'm not dead. I kind of expected I would be, so I'm pleased and delighted that I didn't kill myself by accident.
Systems activate. Systems on.
Now what I want to do is I do want to start kind of spinning a bit, but I need to be spinning in the proper direction for this. Oh, what's this? What's this? This hill might be my salvation. Or it may not. Oh. Oh. Oh, bloody I don't know what it is about turning things off that's ejecting me out of the seat, but it's not helping the situation one bit. We are definitely in one of those situations where you don't want to be. This is why I'm not a fan of wheeled vehicles.
Weapons off. Systems activating. Systems on.
Well, I think this is actually the direction I want to be going.
Weapons off. System.
No, it's not. Spinning clockwise is really not the direction I want to be going. I'd rather be spinning counterclockwise because that would give me the general direction that I want to be going in. But unfortunately, this is not quite going as planned.
Weapons off. Systems activating. Systems on.
Well, you know, I am finding a certain level of irony in titling this stream Rock and Roll because I am definitely rolling. That's not the way I planned to. No, not that way. No, not that way.
Systems on.
Well, this is definitely turning into an adventure, but it's the kind of adventure that tends to end poorly. Okay, well, I think we've wasted enough time on this, don't you? So we are going to take out our frustrations. So let's see. Let's see if the equipment manager is working right. So far, so good. Let's see. Animus missile launcher. That sounds like the kind of thing I want to be using right now. Let's see, where did that rock go? Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Now the rock has vanished. It was bad enough that the freelancer decided to go to Never Never Land. I think the rock kind of sensed that I was getting ready to blow it to smithereens because I was all set to break out the heavy weaponry. And instead, it's gone. Well, that's all kinds of hilarious. Okay, we'll put the normal gun back on. Well, now I have no ground vehicle, no hope of survival, and no reason to try hiking to Anderson because the rock is history. So, with that in mind, let's watch what it's like to suffocate in an airless moon. It's lasting longer than I thought. Either he's got more stamina than I've given him credit for, or he's actually able to breathe somewhat. Or that health meter just is taking its sweet old time. There we go. Alas, alas. The great tragedy. So I am going to awaken here in... I'm betting it's Everest Harbor because that makes sense. It's got the right look. Let's re-equip that helmet. I notice I'm still down my health even though, you know, I just respawned. That's rude. I also noticed that it has yet to re-equip the helmet, even though I told it to, which means, there we go. But I think we're going to consider the rock a at least temporarily lost cause. Instead, we'll gear up in standard equipment that I usually wear, which means orc uniform. Although, once again, there we go. And my weapons are almost where I want to be. Where's my machine gun? There we go. Okay, technically submachine gun, but all the same. Okay, well, the experience with the rock has turned out to be a big bust for today. The small amount of funds that I would have gotten is long gone with the rock. Well, you know what? I can't act... Well, yeah, actually, I do know that. Because if it went to Never Never Land, that means it's probably something that requires being claimed. It needs to be claimed. That means the cargo is gone. But it doesn't hurt to look. That said, my freelancer did go to Never Never Land, so let's see if I can get that back. Okay, now see, this went back to a stored status, and that's what I'm hoping happened to the ROC, because if that's what happened, then the cargo may very well still be there, and it might be something I can get at Anderson. I admit that's kind of a desperate hope, but life is filled with desperate hope. So we will take the freelancer, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is it not be available. No big deal. I was already giving it up as lost, so I lose nothing but the time it takes me to get from here to HDMS Anderson. And if it works out, hey, maybe we will see about doing some more rock work. There we go, and I've lost track of the pad, pad 2. That's another reason I like Everest. You will always know what pad you're on Everest. There's some problems at other locations, but at Everest, they shoot straight. They let you know where it is. Even when you are like me and sometimes lose track of what pad you're on between the time you retrieve it and the time you naturally get the elevator to your location. Yeah, you'll notice there in the chat that someone's looking to do kill trades for the Van Duel mask. The Halloween event is going to be coming to a close shortly, so for those individuals who want to get the helmet, or any of the helmets for that matter, they better pick up the pace. If you do the kill trading like that guy there is looking to do, if you can get 50 unique PvP kills, you will get a helmet that looks like the head of a Van Duel. On the other hand, if you go to Benny Hinn's, one of the locations available out there on the Rings of Yella, you will be able to get... Okay, that didn't go the way it was supposed to. I thought they fixed the Mobi-Glass issues. Okay, looks like their hot patch has hosed the Mobi-Glass issues. They said they fixed them, but apparently they lied. Well, that wouldn't call it a lie. They were incorrect. But I should still not need to worry about the Mobi-Glass for what I want to do right now.
Systems on.
Although I'm also not seeing my virtual joystick thingy that is my guide as far as... Oh yeah. I guess it's also going to be a problem targeting anything. My entire heads-up display is hosed.
Thank you, and please visit again.
My entire heads-up display is hosed. This is a bad situation. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that I'm not pointed in the wrong direction, like towards a planet.
Landing gear up.
And then we're going to do a log off the server and log into a new one and see what happens. See if that fixes up my... Whoa! What the... Whoa! Did you see that? My Mobi-Glass was right there. And it's Okay, that's just too weird. Log out. Let's get to the menu screen and log back in and see what we can do. That was definitely weird. Alright. Let's see if I can get into servers here. Well, that's okay because that's probably the server I was already on. I probably don't want to be on that particular server right now anyway. Just in case that's what's causing my little inconvenient problems. It's best if I'm on a brand spanking new server. Well, new to me. Where I can log in, have none of the history behind it, and maybe have my mobiGlass working again. Hopefully logging in where I should be, which would be, say, on the Freelancer. And we can attempt to get back to the Aberdeen and Anderson. Knock on wood. Of course, one kind of starts thinking, okay, well, something is definitely screwed up here. Well, first things first. mobiGlass? mobiGlass. So exactly that much is right with the world. Let's try the next step. Is the Freelancer back? That may not be as obvious an answer as it seems. It might be, though. It's possible that I didn't get far enough away from Everest to avoid being, well, put back right in here when I logged in. But if it put me back in, then it should also have logically put the Freelancer back in. No, it calls it destroyed. Thank you guys for nuking my ship. Okay, it looks like it's also going to be affected by that bug. Oh, there we go. For a minute, I was dead sure that it was going to be affected by that bug. Because there are some ships that, if they have to be claimed, they don't like to claim anymore. And they stay unclaimable forever. Well, at least until you do a character reset or they do another big patch. And considering I'm pretty sure that the expo that they'll be doing next month will be qualified as another one of those relatively big patches, which should put everything I have back into action, in theory. Now, honestly, I don't necessarily have to wait. I've got this other Freelancer. Yeah, see this Freelancer? This isn't one of those that went to limbo, except at least it duplicated on me, so I was able to still have two Freelancers operational. And the reason I have two Freelancers operational is because one is a loaner for the Mercury, and the other one is the one that everybody has because of a bug that may or may not still exist, and they never got around to taking it away. Well, you know what? I don't really feel like waiting the extra time. Yes, I basically threw the money away, but it was only a few hundred credits. I can handle the loss of a few hundred credits. I mean, right now I'm sitting on 273k. A few hundred credits isn't going to be that much. Of course, it's not going to really be that much as far as that ROC had on it either. It'll probably get me some money if it's still there. I don't actually know this is a fact. But so far, the Mobi-Glass is working, and if the Mobi-Glass is working, I should be able to target destinations again, fly properly again. And if I'm wrong, this will be spectacularly embarrassing. Oh, for heaven's sake, where's the hatch on this thing? I noticed that my flashlight is no longer working. Oh, there we are. One of the bugs that has been persistent for patch after patch after patch is sometimes the flashlight on the helmet will work, and sometimes less so. And it occurs to me that the reason that all this started in the first place was because I was talking about the Van Duel helmet, and I was talking about the bendy heads, and I wanted to show the helmet you got if you did the bendy heads thing. And here we are. Yep, I'm having trouble with my third-person rotation. There we are, kind of. It definitely looks like something out of a horror movie, doesn't it? Let's close in. It'll be easier to see in sunlight. Now, I have no idea if I'll actually be at sunlight, but I'll see there's my crosshairs and everything. That's exactly what I want to see. Now we are operating the way we should. Oh, I recognize that sound. Sounds like a security ship coming in to do its scans. Huh. Maybe not. Let's take advantage of that fact and get out of Dodge before they decide to say hello.
Landing gear up.
Of course, not like they'll call me to stop the moment I jump. There we go. Of course, I'm at the point where I more or less feel obligated to ignore them even if they did call me to stop at that point. Well, looks like they're on the dark side, which makes a certain amount of sense because it was dark when I'd left. There is a certain consistency with the timing of the day-night cycles. Jumping servers will generally not help your situation about light side, dark side. At least it hasn't been my experience. It's perfectly possible that someone else might have managed to go from one server to the other and transition from day to night just like that. But I've not seen it. Alright, first things first, let's right side up ourselves. I'll increase my speed substantially because I don't really feel like taking my time to get there. I'm going to set route again so that I have the marker, just to give me the assurance that I'm heading in the right direction. I'll turn on my headlights, even though I can't see anything yet. And I'm going to pay real close attention to my altimeter because altitude counts for a lot, and if I find myself dropping below 500 too quickly, that probably means I'm far too close to the ground and I'm likely to become, well, bits and pieces. Tiny bits and pieces. You can see that, we're getting close to 350 meters a second. Okay, I can start seeing the terrain details, and oh, I am definitely going to overshoot. Oh, thank heavens! For a minute there, I thought I was going to roadkill there. Well, despite my best attempts to become a stain on the landscape, I seem to have managed to arrest my forward movement and put myself in a position where I can land cleanly.
Landing gear down. Landing successful. Engines off.
Okay. We're going to do 2 potential stops here. One stop will determine whether or not there's a second one. The first stop is going to be the trade terminal. If the trade terminal gives me access to the ROC and the cargo capacity, then I am going to be more willing to head out and... Where is my... Okay, there we are. I'll be more willing to go to the Platinum Bay and retrieve the ROC and, well, look for more rocks. Really, talking about the ROC and mining rocks, the folks at Grey Cat have really outdone themselves with the name of that thing. I'm sure that's an abbreviation for something, I just don't know what for. Alright, let's find out. Is it still here? Is it still available? It is not. Well, let's go to the Platinum Bay anyway and find out if I can find out its status. If nothing else, I can claim it. At least get it to the point where I'll be able to get it back when I want to next. Of course, on the other hand, the freelancer is here. I'm here. Why not? First, though, I've got to figure out just where the Platinum Bay terminals are in relation to me. It is still dark out. And I'm having a little hard time narrowing down where exactly the Platinum Bay building is. Where are you? Ah, is that it all the way over there? Oh, I think I see it now. All the way in the distance ahead of me. All the way back there. And you'll notice that right now I have a survival estimate timer counting down. That's because I took off my Pembroke armor, which is designed for extreme heat, like what you'd find, say, here at Aberdeen. And I'm wearing more medium combat armor, which is not designed for extreme heat, and accordingly is designed to deal with people shooting at me, as opposed to, you know, cooking like a turkey. 10 minutes, however, is more than enough time for me to get to pretty much anywhere on this outpost. And once I'm inside, the countdown timer goes back to the beginning, effectively, as the armor cools off and I go into air conditioning. So, what's the Grey Cat ROC situation? Well, it's on Aberdeen. I wonder if I can track it. I didn't think so. Okay, well, the ROC and its cargo is history. On the other hand, it is giving me a retrieve here, which is a bad sign because I'm probably going to get the big red X saying I can't retrieve it here because it's in one of those crazy states. And if it's taking this long, it is almost guaranteed to give me the big red X. There you go.
Our automated system is unable.
So much for that one. Okay, let's get back to the ship. I think what we'll do next is... Oh, first I'll get back to the ship. Let's get that out of the way now. Because I'd rather be able to decide what to do when I don't have a death counter counting down. Up and at 'em. And we'll go into the back way. I love jumping around on lighter gravity worlds or moons. Now you'll notice that when I'm moving around on the ship, there's these little hitches whenever I stop. And I think that's associated with the whole force effects part of this patch. But it's clearly not working quite right, because I should not be experiencing that sort of thing on the ground. Or if I were, I should be experiencing it on the surface of the moon as well as out here, and I'm not. So something is clearly not right. Alright, we're going to go to the contracts manager, and we're going to look at the mercenary missions, and we are going to attempt an execution work. It's been a while since I've done a first-person shooter thing, and I'm told that the turrets are really, really dangerous now. So, I'm going to attempt to pretty much get myself killed by turret today. Hey, the worst thing that can happen is I respawn back at, what do you call it? Everest. But I can't see him. There we go. Zacharias.
Engines on.
But I figure, you know, if you've managed to suffer with me through the experience with the mining with the rock and trying to get myself righted back up and trying to make the 30-kilometer trek that failed, really, if you've gone through that much of a boost, you might as well get some entertainment out of more lively activity. Okay, let's set course again because I'm almost certain that there's a, orbital marker that I gotta hit. It looked like I was going to have to go through the moon to get to my destination. That's usually a good sign that I need to reset the route. Alright. Off to Hurston proper. Now, the good thing about taking the Freelancer is the Freelancer can actually take a hit. Or at least it used to. Unfortunately, that may no longer be the case. But you know how it goes. You can't discover things unless you try them. Uh-oh. No comlink. Someone's taking down the comlink in this area. Somebody's looking to do some very bad activities around Hurston. Things to look forward to. In the meantime, I want to set my shields to power primary up the front. I'll worry about hardening the shield up front in a minute. It will be nighttime. Not my favorite time to deal with targets, but needs must when the devil drives, as they say.
Quantum travel complete.
Okay. Weapons are working. That's good. I'm gonna need them. theoretically, I should be able to target the turrets. I have no idea what the distance of their weaponry will be. You had to get pretty close to get the turrets to spawn in and start shooting before. But as a certain Arabian future prince once said, it's a whole new world. Yeah, it's amazing some of the deep cuts I'll go to in this stream. I also want to be not really close to the ground, but close enough so that I'll be able to see things with the ship headlights. Or floodlights, if you prefer. I'm about closing in on 6 kilometers over the surface. You really can't get huge amounts of speed in a freelancer on Hurston. Not at lower altitudes at any rate. Thick atmosphere. Maybe gravity. A little of this, a little of that. Let's go a little steeper in here. I don't want to be approaching the target quite like that. And once I get close enough, I'm going to decouple because I'm going to want to have a little more fine control over my movement. Target located. Oh, I never really had any doubt of that one. Okay, decouple. Need a little more altitude here. Looks like I might have been a little overzealous in my desire to be lower to the ground. Kilometers. 1.5. I see the target location. I don't see the turrets. That bothers me. It bothers me a lot. I know you're here. The last thing I need is to be stranded again. Which I concede may still yet happen. But I'm still seeing no turrets. Which means they're probably still operational. Well, they may have been cleaned out by somebody, but it also means that they may be coming back while I'm inside. And that is not a thing I want to have happen. Yeah, see, that looks like one of the spots where there'd be a turret. If I knew where the turrets were, where they would spawn in, I would be highly tempted to try to park myself where they couldn't shoot me. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that these little square pads are where the turrets will spawn in. And like I said, I'm not entirely sure of the distance that these things will fire, but I'm pretty sure that I don't want to be too far away. Okay, behind, maybe back, if I park down here, maybe it'll be, no, because there's a turret spot right there, probably. Oh, bouncing off the cargo deck stuff. Well, it's either hang around here and wait for something to spawn, or set down and roll the dice.
Landing gear down. Landing successful.
After all, I did only take a standard execution warrant, which means I only have to take out one target. So maybe I'll be in and out before anything horrible happens. Now, all that said, if I'm going to do an execution warrant, then I'd best have the proper equipment for the job. Ordinarily, I'm using an S71 rifle. For little executions like this, I prefer the P6LR sniper rifle. And we're going to put on the tacit suppressors so they're quiet kills. And I'm going to cut down the... I'm going to change the scope to a 4x scope because really, if you're indoors, you don't need 16 times scope. That is definitely an outdoorsy kind of thing. Wrong weapon. Right weapon. Weapon not shooting. This is why I test these things before I go into the combat situation. There we go. Now, of course, I did not think to put reloads on this thing. Well, that's not such a big deal, in my opinion. I'll tell you why. If I need more than 7 shots, I've done something horribly wrong and things will go incredibly bad. I should not need more than 7 shots off the sniper rifle. Of course, it also occurs to me that this may give me the excuse to play with my grenades. They've changed the throw mechanics in the game, and I've yet to actually make use of them. Of course, it occurs to me that I might have been smart if I checked the firing from my submachine gun for my panic situations. Oops. Target of opportunity gone before I can take advantage. There might be another guy coming through here, so... One down. Oops. Oops! Okay. It's panic time. Taking down at least 2 targets. I want to say it would have been 3, but I'm only seeing 2 bodies, so I'm assuming I screwed up on that one. So I'm probably going to die a horrible death somewhere here. But I'll at least make it entertaining. My target, unfortunately, is still on the lower level there. He's still on the lower level there. Oh, I shouldn't do what I'm thinking. I should not do what I'm thinking. I hear movement. I saw you there. Oh, for pity's sake. I see you. I've far too many grenades for that, but... I think he's still alive because I'm still having to eliminate target thing. There we go. Alright. I've eliminated my target. I really don't feel like the need to take out everybody in this building because Well, they know I'm here now. I'm tempted to swipe weapons, but there are still active opponents in here, I suspect, so better by far to just count this as a win and head on out. Not bad. Didn't get a huge amount of profit. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to the mission, so single shot, single kill. Well, it took 2 shots. I have indeed emptied out the clip for my sniper rifle, so if I plan to do something like this again later, I'm going to need to make sure to put some of those clips on my harness. Amazingly, the turrets have still not spawned out. I'm going to take that as a sign and depart this outpost as quickly as I can. Out we go.
Engines on. Launch sequence complete.
Moral of the story, guys, invest in turrets. I'm probably setting myself up for future pain by taunting them like that, but we all have our little foibles. Let's set shields through the back end here, just in case a turret spawn in when I'm leaving. It would be most distressing to take fire from the back end. That's what just rebalance them to save ourselves some trouble. Because the back shields really aren't increasing any faster than anything else, so. What I ought to do is look into buying one of those grenade launcher guns. A little explanation is in order. Among the things that were dropped with the last big patch, 3.11, we got some new toys in the form of grenade launchers. Now, I am not a big fan of grenade launchers in and of themselves, but, well, I'm kind of on the situation of why not? So what we're going to do is we're going to head to Delamar. I'm not 100% certain that the guns will be there, but I'm kind of liking my odds. All that said, it seems that I can't set my course nicely and neatly towards it, which is a tad annoying. Let me hop to OM2 first and see if that will give me a better position to do that. Now, maybe now I can set a route to Delamar. No, that would be too easy. Can't even select it properly. Oh, there we go. I have no idea what I did, but I'm not going to argue with good fortune. It is 29 million kilometers away, closer to 30 if you round. While we are jumping our way to distant planetoid, let's get the weapons a little bit more ironed out here. Fixing my little crime stat problem. What? I don't have a crime stat. No. Unless it's not something that's coming up on this helmet HUD. That seems silly. Let's swap helmets too. Just in case that makes a difference. I didn't think I had a crime stat. And now I'm curious. Let's rearm up the orc helmet. And then we are going to replace my S71 rounds with my sniper rounds. Once that's situated, I'll reload the gun. Then I'll go back into the equipment manager and put back on another set of those clips. Okay, it's not working the way I expected, but there we go. So now I have 8 plus 16 to play with, more than enough to take down any targets, presuming that I can remain in a stealthy aspect. Alright. Where's my journal? You're talking about my crime stat problem, but I didn't think I had a crime stat. No, I've got failure to comply, but that's not a crime stat issue. So I'm not sure why I got the pop-up there about fixing the crime stat. Especially since I'm pretty sure I already had that from dealing with certain illegal activities with other certain members of my org. They will remain nameless. They know who they are. Another thing I can do while I'm in Delamar is I should be able to spawn the ROC there as well. Mainly as a ground vehicle, just to get it out of that bad status that it's sitting in right now. Okay, I've got my weapons situated, my armor situated, everything situated, and we're about a little over a minute out from Delamar. I like Delamar. I like the atmosphere of Delamar. It has the whole independent spacer kind of attitude. Once upon a time, they had the friendliest greeter on the ATC out there. And even more importantly than almost any of this, their hangar doors stay open. They don't close lightning quick like every other freaking hangar in this game, except maybe for Hex. Is it wrong of me to say that the illegal installations, or the, shall we say, not quite so up and up installations, are the ones that have working hangar doors? Everywhere more or less legitimate has hangar doors that are operated by, I don't know, monkeys? No, that's probably giving it too much dignity. I can't think of anything dumb enough to describe the people who operate the hangar doors on Lorville or the R&R stations or any number of locations. But Levski? Levski's good people. I should also think about upgrading the quantum drive on this thing. I keep being told how great crossfield quantum drives are, and depending on what the math works out to be, maybe I should indulge. Of course, they may not have it at Delamar, or they may not have it at Levski. So, that's a secondary thing. I'm not even 100% certain that the grenade launchers at Levski, to be completely honest, but Levski does tend to carry the weapons that aren't exactly in the standard locations, shall we say, like the missile launcher or the railgun. Oh, the brain just froze on that one. So it's possible that I will be able to find the grenade launcher here as well. It's also possible I may find hostiles here. I have no idea what that ship is, but he's not shooting at me, so I'll give benefit of the doubt.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Another good thing about Levski, you don't have to worry about those tunnels for your approach. The folks at Levski, they trust you to know how to fly your ship. It's also possibly another way of saying we don't want noobs here. I can't say with certainty one way or the other what describes their attitude best. So we are on approach, and well, this is weird. Oh, there we go. Little graphic issues that kind of make you wonder, hey, why is half the landing area turned with dirt? Some things you just don't question. Drop landing gear. Turn off the headlights.
Landing successful.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Engines off. Weapon system off.
Alright, let's step outside. And it's telling me what hangar I'm in, which is always handy. So this is not one of the bad places like Lorville, for example, where you'll occasionally not see what hangar your ship is in. Now, if Levski gives you the impression of a run-down location, well, you've gotten the right impression. Let's go to the lobby first. Let's get that ROC taken care of. Or at least try to get the ROC taken care of. I should probably phrase that. You never know, it might be in reclaim limbo at this point. Wouldn't be the first time, and it wouldn't be the last. Welcome to Levski. Alright, Grey Cat ROC. Let's see if it'll let me claim this properly. I'll claim. Will we see that countdown? Yes! Okay, excellent. I'm not going to be bringing it out here because, well, I don't really think there's anything that you can mine here on Delamar. So, grab the elevator, and now we'll go to customs. Now from here, if I can get myself turned in the correct directions, I can take this set of elevators to the Grand Barter. I always want to call it the Grand Bazaar. I think I'm being influenced by my D&D days when I was really big into the Planescape setting. And there was a location there called the Grand Bazaar, so that sticks in my head. Even if it's not accurate. Now, weapons are sold at the store called Conscientious Objectors. Or is it Conscientious Objections? Either way, that's where they sell their guns. So into the barter. Loop around. And it should be on my right. Conscientious of objects. I was throwing suffixes in when I didn't have to. And apparently I'm not the only one looking to buy guns today. But that looks like an AI guy. It's hard to say. So let's take a look at the screen here and see Oops, weaponry is not what I want. Now, of course, it would help a lot if I remembered. Now, I've heard a lot of things about the Coda pistol. Why not? I'll buy one. I'll experiment with it sometime.
I think you're going to be happy with that.
He thinks I'm going to be happy with that. Oh, here we are. The TP-33 Mod Grenade Launcher. From Bearing. 6 magazines. Size 1 optics and size 1 underbarrel. I can't see any reason why you use an underbarrel tool on here. Unless you want a field light, I guess. Enemies will either scatter or splatter when you turn the TP-33 mod in their direction. This military-grade launcher fires 40mm grenades to clear rooms and flush out enemies behind cover. Those that don't immediately flee will feel the pain, as Bearing's precision design also includes a feature that primes each grenade to explode on impact. At an affordable 7,325 BC. Is a size 4 weapon, so it will not fit in one of the medium or light weapon slots on your armor. TP-33s. So where you have TP-33s, you must also have somewhere ammunition. Now here's something I noticed here, and I haven't seen a weapon that uses it, but WoW Blast Desperado toy pistol magazine for the WoW Blast Desperado is a dart gun. And if you can see up here, I believe this is a Nerf gun. So at some point, just for kicks, I'll double check. At some point, they're going to be putting Nerf weaponry in this game. I find it hilarious. What I'm not finding hilarious is the fact that I'm not seeing the ammunition for the grenade launcher. This bugs me. Either I'm scrolling by it and missing it because I'm blind as a bat, or they're selling the weapon but not the ammo. Now that makes no sense to me at all, so I'm assuming that I'm missing something obvious. Shotguns, magazines, rifles, pistols, submachine guns, sniper, more machine guns, shotguns, twin shotguns. I think the twin shotgun might be new, but I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. There was another weapon introduced, but I don't remember what it was offhand. I'm not going to try guessing. They do not seem to have it. So the only other possibility I can think of is if they sold under the weapons. But I don't think the frag grenades are ammo. So I am at a loss. I am not sure where you would get the ammo. Unless it's under utility, but no, it's not utility either. It's not a... Well, this is truly a mystery. Truly a mystery.
Hi, welcome to the store.
Let me see if they have anything in here that, yeah, there's the frag grenades, which are throwable stuff. I wonder if they have the grenade launcher anywhere on the wall here, because if they had it on the wall, then maybe they'd have the ammo clips related. Well, I'm completely at a loss on that one. I really don't know what the ammunition is or where it would be, except it is clearly not here. Is that it? That's just one of the shotguns. Okay, well, we'll be demonstrating that weaponry with limited ammunition, because I do kind of want to demonstrate Killgun. And it's actually less demonstration because, well, demonstration implies familiarity with it I do not possess. Oops, I was getting ready to loop myself all the way back around. That would have been pretty silly. So we're going to go back to the Freelancer, and we're going to fly a bit of a distance away from Levski, but we'll still stay on the planetoid, because I really don't want to go too far. And we will put the grenade launcher to a very short test. There must be something to the ammunition type that I'm not catching. Maybe it is using frag grenades as ammunition.
We're sorry. You exceeded the allotted time.
A little too slow.
Have to return your ship to storage.
Okay, well, now I'll just have to let them store the ship before I can pull it out. If I try to preempt them, I'm likely to do something horrible to the ship itself. So we might as well let them store it and do their thing. And we'll see what happens.
Ship storage procedure. For your safety, please vacate the area. Thank you for your cooperation.
Yes, yes, yes. Just do it already. Tell you what, while you're getting your act together and trying to figure out how to store my ship, I'm going to equip the new hotness. Interesting. It claimed to have the ability to optics barrel, under barrel. Well, it's got an optics, but there's no under barrel slot for it. This would be what most common folk would call a bug. Whether it's a text bug in the description or a bug with a weapon, I do not know. All I know is that's not supposed to happen. Hangar 2. I honestly have no idea if that's any closer than Hangar 4 or not. There is a website out there, because really there's a website for everything. And it goes into detail about all the landing spots for, well, everything in the game here, including Levski, which would identify what hangar is what and so forth. It's a handy utility if you want to try to figure out where you're landing before you've actually landed. It's also good for other details too. Unfortunately, I don't remember the site name off the top of my head, so I can't really direct you to it. I think somewhere along the line I'm going to have to also put in the command screen for helpful links. Or at least the links that I use, that I find helpful. Your mileage may vary. Alright. The reason I want to get clear of Levski is because I want to be out of the armistice zone, because I can't use the weapon systems without it.
Launch sequence complete.
Up we go. I didn't notice any of that weird tilt that we usually experience when we're flying the Freelancer. It also occurs to me that finding a flat spot on the planetoid might be a challenge.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Now, there's a planetoid. It's not exactly what we would call moon size. Okay, excellent. Oh, excellent. There's plenty of flat spaces. This is perfect in almost every conceivable way. Unfortunately, I seem to have a little bit of trouble getting my engines to cut down to the point. Oh, there we go. I'm using the wrong key for my aero brake. Yeah, that's not too embarrassing. But there's plenty of spots on this moon to land, and that should give me enough cover to experiment with my presumably highly limited supply of grenade ammo. The other downside, of course, is that because this is a planetoid, it doesn't have the same gravity issues. But it also means it also doesn't have... Oh, wait. Excellent. That was great. Well, it's still not great because I don't see an altimeter, so I really have no idea how close to the ground I actually am. So we are going to turn off the cruise control so that I'm more or less... Well, not exactly stopped exactly, but... And then I'm going to try to find a reasonably kind of flat spot. Finding this flat spot in general is going to be a lost cause. I mean, we're on a rock made of rock. Oops. But I don't want to land on that one. Well,
Engines off.
if you can walk away from it, it's a good landing. Alright, let's step outside. Dum 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 dum. Ah, stupid turret. Whoever came up with the idea of lowering the interaction point for those turrets should be shot out of the turrets. Rage, rage, rage. I was wondering why the door wasn't opening. I thought I was having a graphic glitch. No, that would have been too easy. Okay, let's see. The bearing grenade launcher. I seem to have a clip of 6 grenades. And only 6 grenades, and since I'm... Well, actually, that's a good point. I don't think I actually reloaded my grenades onto my person. There we go. Alright. We are going to test the grenade launcher on my hapless freelancer. Suicidal? No, not really. Freelancer's shields are up. This isn't going to do squat. But I kind of want to get an idea of the distance that this thing will go. It's not shooting. Oh. No, it's still not shooting. Ah. It might be affected by the same bug that prevents anything else from shooting. Let's see if it'll work now. There we go. Oh, and there we go. Hit on the shield. Let's try to hit that rock over there. Ooh, satisfying noise. Let's go for distance. There's no way that I'm going to get that far. But I want to try and see. They had a pretty good distance, didn't it? Let's do that again. Not bad. That's a fair distance. I would say that was probably the outer range of what I would expect for this weapon. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, as for... Well, let me pull that out again, actually, because might as well make use of the other 2 grenades. To figure out blast radius. That said, I don't want to be too close because I would kind of like to not die. But if I do, hey, I'm here at Levski. It's not too far. That is a satisfying explosion. Okay, so I can clearly fire things at things that are not horribly far from me and come out completely unscathed, which actually surprises me a little bit. Unfortunately, I am now out of ammunition. Somewhere, I'm sure, sells the ammunition. Ooh, that's a horrible park job. Somewhere sells the ammunition, but I don't know where. Maybe next time we will do more ground engagements, and perhaps we will use the grenade launcher for that. Or perhaps something else will come available in-game. Don't really know, that's looking far ahead. But we are at the 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern hour, which is the end point of today's stream. I will, of course, be streaming Star Citizen once again next Saturday on Halloween from 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern. I will probably wear the spooky helmet for the entirety of that session, simply because, hey, let's be thematically appropriate. I also do a Star Trek Online stream. They occur on Wednesday nights from 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. And that will do it for today. I would like to thank you all for joining me and tolerating the crazy, especially with the way the ROC stuff turned out. Someday, I will be able to turn them right and not have them disappear and all that other stuff. Thank you for watching. This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.